Hello, this is Elizabeth Claire Brewington with Discover Brightside, where we discover new books and new speakers almost every day. And here I am with someone who comes with great credentials and highly spoken for, is Daniel Feiman. And he
Feiman.
has written two books, which is Business from A to Z, and then the book on improving productivity. And the upcoming book that we're all excited about is how to really obtain financing for your business. And he is, I love the his logo, which says "Build It Backwards Consulting." So let's find out how your business from the back into the front. So over to you. I'm going to let you do a quick introduction. Welcome to the BW Studios, where we discover new things, and we have discovered you today. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. So I started the company about 28 years ago when I left commercial banking. I really wanted to make a difference with my clients that I couldn't as a banker. And the reason we named it Build It Backwards is because we work with our clients from their ideal future. We reverse engineer it back to today. We really create their success roadmap. And that's how we have been so successful in the last 28 years.
That's amazing. So let's get into you offer a wealth of things from your website. So you offer books, you offer presentations, you're a great speaker. So let's start with your coaching or consulting practice. Tell us a little bit about that, and if someone's really brand new and wants to get to know you, how do they can connect with you, and how do they book a session with you, if you do that, or do you work only with corporates? Do you work with small business? Tell us all about it.
All right. Well, the vast majority of our clients over the years have been small to mid-sized businesses. We have had the pleasure of working with Apple and Dell and Saudi Aramco and a few other multinationals, but the vast majority of our clients, again, are small to mid-size. We work exclusively with businesses, although within that, obviously, I coach the executives either individually or in groups. And the idea is to take the clients from where they are, which is usually not where they want to be, to their ideal self. And we really focus just in four areas: succession, finance, leadership, and strategy. And the reason we have focused on these areas specifically is those are the areas that seem to make the biggest sustainable impact with the clients. And the vast majority of them are clients here in Southern California, but I have, as I'm looking at my list of clients now, across the country, and I have had this pleasure of both training and consulting in 30 different countries around the world.
That's amazing. So let's go into the books now. So you've got three books out there, and let's start with the first one, the A to Z, and then we'll go on how to increase your productivity, and the new book that's coming up.
Okay, so the A to Z, the reason that we wrote that was specifically to be basically a handbook or a desk book for managers to use as a reference guide. It covers 26 different topics from accounting to budgeting, etc., all the way through Z. X, of course, is the X-ray chapter where we go into a number of different tools for clients. That was actually the most recent book. The one before that, the productivity, was our second book in the series. And that got into how you could actually improve what was going on within the organization. And we did that a little bit tongue in cheek. Actually, the very first book was the finance book, which I originally wrote when I was still teaching corporate finance at University of California, Los Angeles Extension. Some people know it as UCLA. The next book that's coming out, the fourth in our series, which I'm really pleased with, is the book on succession planning systems, the 30 Secrets to Leadership Development, which we created as a result of working with clients over the last several years in creating effectively a roadmap for them to be able to improve their organizations to the point that if they wanted to step away, they could successfully.
Wow, that sounds great. And it's a nice book collection for anyone who's starting a business. Our audience actually is perfect for your books because we have people who are transitioning, newly retired, starting their businesses, family-owned businesses who need to learn about succession planning. So you're right there with our audience. So I tell all my entrepreneurs, mostly veterans, women-owned, Black-owned, minorities, and everybody, I include everyone, that these books are essential. And one of the goals that we have at Discover Brightside is a literacy goal to get people to read more and get books in people's hands. So my audience is now used to buying books because I'm like, get books, start a library, and own it, read it, and learn from someone who has so much experience that they're sharing it with you. So this is very, very exciting. So where now? Where next? You've got a fantastic consultancy. You've got the third book coming out. So where do you want to go next?
Well, for me, it's working more on the side of organizations that need our help and can't necessarily afford it. So we find that I'm doing more and more work with the not-for-profits because there are so many good causes out there. Many of them don't have the budgets to afford the type of consulting that they need. And effectively, Elizabeth, the biggest difference for me between a for-profit business and a not-for-profit business is the terminology on their P&L. They still have strategic issues, tactical challenges. They have to manage their finances. They have to develop their organization. They have to market it. So spending more time really helping these types of organizations is where we plan to go next. The rest of our business is very solid.
That's awesome. So a bucket list. You've done 30 countries, which is so impressive. That's another one of my goals, is to get people to travel more and just look at what's outside of the United States. So is there a country that you haven't been to that you would like to go to do a training or speaking, or is there a one on your bucket list that you haven't done yet, or one of the 30 countries that you want to go back to?
Well, every country I have been to, I would definitely go back to. I've unfortunately never had an opportunity that worked out timing wise to do any training at all in Africa. And there's several countries in Africa that I would love to go visit. And also, I have to say, I have yet to be to Israel. I've been to almost every country in the Middle East. I've not been to Israel yet. So several countries in Africa and Israel, those are my bucket lists, and we're working very diligently to try to arrange that in the next 1 or 2 years.
And they're going to need you now because they're going to rebuild Israel. So, one of the things that has come up from, both sides of the story is that now the world has to pay attention to something that we should have been paying attention to a long time ago, is how do you address both sides in order to come to a peaceful resolution. And so hopefully this has now surfaced to such a point where you have to rebuild Israel, and an Israel for everyone. And so I think this is a time when they might need you. So it might just happen. You might have to go there to consult them and fix some of those problems that they're facing
I
right
would
now.
be happy to lend my little expertise.
Yes. So this is just a futuristic question. You can answer it any way you want. But with AI, with the political climate that we have right now, where do you see us going in the next 5 years? And as a consultant, I think our role is getting better. I mean, more needed. People are beginning to value consultants more than ever. So I think everyone is going to need a consultant. I mean, period. So what do you think in this current climate?
It's very interesting you bring up that question now. I was just discussing this specifically with Eric Jackson a week ago, who actually wrote a very nice testimonial on my next book. Eric wrote The PayPal Wars, and he is an expert in this area. There's both good and bad that he has seen with it. And I think most people have seen the positive potential as well as potentially a negative side. Um, we discussed how that would impact writing, but also AI, I think, potentially has both a positive and negative opportunity when it comes to medicine, when it comes to design, when it comes to media. You and I are actually human beings talking to each other. At least I think you're
Yeah,
a human being.
I'm not an AI.
Okay, good. But we have seen some of the deep fakes that have been created that are extremely difficult to discern are not actually legitimate people. That's the potential negative. The potential positive I see is some of the things I'm reading about as far as improvements in medicine and in mechanical design to make cars and other things safer. Um, I am very hopeful of where AI can take us.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think like with everything new, we're going to go through we're going to spend a lot of money. Some of it will go waste, but it's a learning curve. And anything new has always got pros and cons to it. And a few people will get very rich in a short period of time, which is the way the economy works. And yeah, and I see that, coaching is going to play a big role because we're going to have to teach people, just like we all learned how to use computers and podcasting and Facebook and social media. Now we're going to have to learn AI. So training will be a big deal, and we'll see a lot of that coming through as well. So it might be a great time to be a consultant and a book author, and I wish you much success. And once again, everyone, I will. What about this concept of building backwards? I mean, I just love this whole thing, and I forgot to ask you that up front.
All right. The reason that we named the company Build It Backwards, it was not the original name of the firm. You don't want to know the name of the firm originally. It was a terrible name I came up with myself. It was my advisory board that kept after me. They said, look, Daniel, you work this way. You should change the name. So we agreed to change the name, which was the single smartest marketing move I ever made. And again, the idea, Elizabeth, is most organizations, if they have any plan for tomorrow, it's only tomorrow. It's we keep doing the same things in the same way. And most organizations aren't achieving nearly the goals that they could. So what we do is we sit down with a client and we help them envision their ideal horizon, whether that's 5, 10, 20 years in the future. And we write that down. And we turn around and from that ideal horizon, we help them craft goals, actions, metrics, specifics, all the way back from 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, 1 year, so that they take in small bites, steps towards their ideal future. And the concept came to me one time when we were on vacation. We struggled mightily with the stress of getting where we were going. We weren't quite sure because we were driving where we turn off and this and that, and it was not very pleasant. Once we reached our destination, had a nice vacation, coming home was a breeze. And my wife turned to me and said, isn't it so much easier getting home than getting there? And that led to a further conversation. And that's why we developed the concept that we did, that truly we build it backwards. From your ideal future, we build a success roadmap backwards to today. It's reverse engineering. It's very successful. Clients love it. It's easy to understand.
Yeah, it's like a vision board or manifestations. where do you want to see yourself, and then go backwards. I think that works perfectly. So here I'm going to show everyone once again. We'll go back to your website, builditbackwards.com, and get the books. So he has 2 books and he has a new one coming up, and we will keep you informed when the new book arrives. So Daniel, thank you so much. I really, really enjoyed this interview, and we wish you much success in a new era. I don't think any civilization, I'm sure everyone says this, but I think our group has experienced more than anyone else has experienced. Every generation has a story, but I think our generation is going to has had many firsts. And so I think we'll have a long lineage of stories to tell. And people don't realize, but we will be the benchmark for the future on pandemics, on elections, on every little thing that's going on with us. We are going to be the benchmarks for the future. And because it's this year that in 2024, that it's a major year. And I don't think many people realize how fortunate or unfortunate we are to live in this time, but this is the world we live in. So Brightside, you know what to do. Subscribe. If you want to learn about new things, you want to discover new things, if you want to be on our show, we have several ways you can participate as a live audience to a taping at any of our club meetings or at our show that we host each month. Or you could be a sponsor and you could sponsor our show and be a speaker and be here and get more brand exposure. And we offer you one-on-one if you want to start your own podcast or you want to get to know video and this crazy world of social media and online. You can learn how to get more exposure and more comfortable with technology. And our goal is to get you to read more and buy these books so you can start your own library. And also for librarians and for wholesale booksellers, you've got to keep stocking self-published authors. Otherwise, your bookstore and your library is missing out on some valuable experts who are giving great experience, tips, and ideas that you are not going to find if you don't stock self-published authors. So that's a must for you, whether you're a library or whether you're a bookstore, that you stock these books. So thank you for watching Discover Brightside, where we discover everything new. Subscribe if you're watching on any channel, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you watch this video, subscribe or go to our website, discoverbrightside.com.